The morning sun burned brightly over the sleepy town of Riverview, glinting off the rows of cars parked along dusty streets. But in the small corner garage of Clayton Miller, the day had begun with the kind of quiet desperation only a single parent knows. Clayton, a man in his mid-30s with a small beard and rough hands hardened by years of labor, wiped the sweat from his brow as he examined the engine of a rusted pickup truck. Life had never been easy. Since his wife passed away 3 years ago, Clayton had been balancing the unforgiving grind of his mechanic job with raising a 7-year-old daughter, Lily. Bills stacked like unscalable mountains on the kitchen counter, and yet he never let that desperation dim the warmth in his eyes. That morning, however, the routine hum of his garage was about to be disrupted in a way he could never have imagined. A police cruiser rolled into his lot, sputtering and coughing like a wounded animal. Out stepped Officer Marissa Hale, a woman in her late 20s with sharp hazel eyes and a determined stride, but today her shoulders sagged under the weight of both her uniform and some invisible burden. Her white police car, usually pristine, had smoke curling from the hood and a deep, ominous rattle in the engine. She approached Clayton hesitantly, her professional demeanor clashing with the anxious edge in her voice. I need help. I don't have the funds for repairs right now," she admitted, her pride barely masked by the faint tremor in her tone. Clayton studied her silently for a moment, the lines on his face deepening. He knew what it was to struggle, to make impossible choices between survival and dignity. He nodded, crouching beside the engine as if it were an old friend, and muttered, "Don't worry about money. I'll fix it." What he didn't say was that this decision would set into motion a chain of events neither of them could foresee. Hours passed in the sweltering heat as Clayton worked tirelessly, hands smeared in grease, sweat dripping into his eyes. Lily sat quietly in the corner, sketching on a pad, occasionally glancing up with admiration at her father's focused determination. Marissa watched silently as well, feeling a mix of awe and guilt. Here was a man she barely knew, pouring effort and care into something that wasn't his responsibility, expecting nothing in return. By late afternoon, the engine purred back to life, smooth and strong. Marissa's eyes shone with gratitude, and she offered a shaky "thank you. I don't know how to repay you." Clayton only smiled, wiping his hands on a rag. Sometimes kindness is enough. If you believe in kindness and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's book. The following day began as any other for Clayton, or so he thought. The warm light of morning filtered through his garage as he prepared tools for another day of work. But as he stepped inside his home to grab a quick coffee, he froze. There, in the middle of his modest living room, was Marissa. She was sweeping the floor, dust motes dancing in the sunlight around her. Her uniform was replaced with casual clothes, but the meticulous care with which she moved through the house left him momentarily speechless. I wanted to thank you," she stammered, cheeks flushing. "For everything yesterday." Clayton blinked, unsure whether to laugh, cry, or scold her for the intrusion. Why are you here?" he asked, voice thick with surprise. Marissa straightened, a small, embarrassed smile tugging at her lips. "I couldn't stop thinking about how much you helped me, and I wanted to give back, even just a little." At first, Clayton's mind raced with practicalities and caution. But as he watched her clean, humming softly under her breath, he felt something he hadn't in years, a profound warmth, the reassurance that generosity could create ripples far beyond their original intent. Lily, curious and wide-eyed, tiptoed over and tugged at Marissa's sleeve, asking shyly, "Do you live here now?" And Marissa laughed, her voice softening the tension in the room. "Not exactly, sweetie. I just wanted to help out." As the day unfolded, Clayton noticed little things. Marissa washing dishes, tidying up the cluttered kitchen, even helping Lily with homework. With every gesture, the room seemed lighter, infused with a sense of care and shared humanity. It was as if the walls themselves whispered stories of gratitude and hope. Clayton couldn't remember the last time he felt so seen, so valued, for simply being the person he was. The act of giving had come full circle, and it left him both humbled and inspired. Marissa's presence also brought challenges. For a woman used to control and authority, the vulnerability of asking for help and then freely giving it back in such an intimate way tested her own boundaries. Clayton, ever cautious and protective of his little world, wrestled with trust and the fear of intrusion. Yet, through shared laughter, quiet moments of reflection, and the honest work of helping and being helped, a bridge of understanding grew between them, one built on mutual respect and the unspoken acknowledgement that sometimes life's most profound lessons come from the simplest acts of kindness. By evening, the house sparkled, the smell of fresh laundry mingling with the faint scent of engine oil from the garage. Clayton sank into the worn couch, exhausted but deeply moved. He glanced at Marissa, who was perched on the armrest, watching Lily draw a picture of all three of them together. For a fleeting moment, the struggles of yesterday, the bills, the exhaustion, the relentless push of survival, felt like distant echoes. What remained was connection, gratitude, and the reminder that even in a world so often hardened by cynicism, acts of genuine care could ripple out and transform lives in unexpected ways. Before the story ends, I want to ask you, if this story touched your heart, if it made you believe in kindness, selflessness, or second chances, please engage with this video, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Grandma's Book. Let's celebrate the good that still exists in people. As the night deepened, Clayton stepped out onto the porch, gazing at the stars, feeling an unfamiliar peace settle over him. Marissa's earlier words echoed softly in his mind. Sometimes kindness is enough. It wasn't just enough, it was transformative. It reminded him that while life could be brutal, fleeting moments of generosity and care could leave imprints far beyond the immediate act. For him, for Lily, and even for Marissa, yesterday's choices had created a ripple of hope that would carry forward in ways none of them could yet measure. In that quiet night, with the hum of the distant town in the background, Clayton realized something profound. No matter how heavy the burdens of life seemed, kindness always had the power to change everything. It was in these small, unspoken gestures, the fixed engine, the swept floor, the shared laughter, that the human spirit revealed its most beautiful truths. And for a poor single dad and a determined police officer, a simple day of giving and receiving had turned into a story of hope, gratitude, and a bond that would linger long after the morning sun rose again. Special request: take a moment today to do something kind for someone else, no matter how small it might change their world, just like it changed Clayton's.